It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from art class are helping with the negative spaces and base surfaces whenever, which is a problem. It's easier to paint a big area if there are a lot of people with hands. The reach is better, and it's faster too. She goes on a tangent, waving a little with her arm, or whatever of it there actually is, to demonstrate even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around, and it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the student base's special properties as it's has in the past few days, you know. This girl doesn't notice my dreary feelings, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago already, and just keeps on blabbering. Sounds like most women. So, that's why I'm trying to figure out if there is something I need to figure out, and then figure that out before it's too late, and all hope is lost. Why would hope be lost? Because painting has to be painted, and then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She finally stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So, this is your project? You did this? Yes, and yes. All of it? Yes. Nice, but, I stumble with my words, suddenly feeling like I've walked straight into the minefield of political incorrectness. It's okay. You can say it. I probably won't get mad. I blush really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels that I'm way more sensitive than Rin is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See? I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it by now. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was at using her feet to eat and, have sex, I figure painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us has anything more to add to the subject. The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it would look like in dim light. Do you think it looks flat? Paintings tend to be flat, but not as flat as your chest. Not like that flat. Flat, like some people are. No substance, no meat, where there should be some. I know a few girls who... Okay, I get it. But I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't name many artists or artistic terms, like art. So I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at saying, "Suit yourself," without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if to try to look for something up there, like the sky. I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp, like the ones they have at the sports track, but there aren't any. Rin sure is quick to recruit my help, as was Shizune. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be any help, though. It's just mixing some paints. You can do that, probably. Do you have motor control problems, like those people who have some cerebral palsy, maybe? Not that I know of. I get it. Heart thingy has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. Bitch. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between her toes of her bare right foot. I open a few of the cans and pour some of the cement contents into shallow bowls for mixing. Yes, the cement contents. There. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl, like syrup. Delicious! I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that melt quickly into each other to form a new monotone hue. Rin sets to work every now and then asking me for a hand with something or the other. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paint to be the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal, to say the least. She wants precision down to the last millimeter before she is satisfied. Sounds like most women, but her instructions are obscure at best. Add half a splash of green. I crouch down and pick up the can of bright green. The other green. This green. I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl. No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. Is green a good color to add? No idea, you're the artist here. A hint of a smile appears in the corners of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No. It's just I have no idea. It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. Okay. That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dreams, but you can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow. What? Despite the impossibility of mixing a color like the change of seasons or any other nonsense, what's being imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Is she saying, like, wet dreams or something? Seeing a painting being born on the placid wall feels like magic. The Gathering. I spend the moments I have between mixing paints crouching down and paving the just looking at her at the wall. What? It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Rin doesn't seem to mind it the least bit. Maybe it's just in my head. Like this voice, speaking right now. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the details, adding layers of paint on top of other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us says a word for the longest time, and even those short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using weird, impromptu code words for various paints and hues, as if there is some need to conserve words and breath and sound and sex and life and death, and we stay there into the late evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. I'll be like, hey girl, want to, Katawa Shoujo. Katawa Shoujo. Wake the fuck up. The sound of the alarm pulls me out of a faithful slumber and into the unpleasant state of wakefulness. That's a word now. I linger under the blanket for a few minutes, gathering energy to rise up, well, making excuses for why I already haven't. Honestly, I wouldn't mind staying here for all day. School is surprisingly exhausting after a long pause, and the culture shock still has not faded, I think. Still, despite getting an impression that skipping class is easy here, I don't think they are going to let me get away with that easily. And the nurse is bound to keep breathing down my neck with the talk of exercise as well. So eventually I do rise up, swallow the morning medications, and put on my old soccer clothing. Why? Thanks to my condition, I was exempted from taking part in gym class at Yamako, so I didn't get issued with a gym outfit. I'd order some to cover with such a contingency, but wearing my old soccer clothes is kind of nostalgic. I can't use them for that anymore, so maybe they can get a new life this way, a bit like me. Seems a bit stupid to me, really, but I suppose this way, at least, I can tell the nurse honestly that I'm doing something about my health. Not that I was ever much of a runner to begin with. Can't hurt to try, I guess, running. I'm surprised to discover that I'm not the only one present at the track. Not just that, but it's a face I've seen before. The prosthetic-legged girl who bowled me over in the hallway yesterday is running on the track lithely? I don't know. Like a half-mechanical gazelle. Oh. What was her name again? It was a short one, but I can't remember. She seems to be running laps at a somewhat easy lope. Her prosthetic legs clacking rhythmically on the hard track surface. I wonder what reason she has for running this early in the morning. Maybe it's something akin to mine, and the nurse is oppressing this poor girl to jog just like he is oppressing me. I certainly wouldn't be here if it weren't for my health and his prompting me to do so. And even with things being like they are, it's only because I wanted to get it out of the way early. The fact that I would be less likely to encounter someone who would witness my pitiful attempts to get in shape was merely a happy accident. I'd leave, but it seems that my former assailant noticed me on her last lap. She waves at me cheerfully and jogs over.